Hello everyone, my name is John Bussart. I'm an HPE Solution Center engineer for Ingram Micro. I help support servers, blade systems, storage, as well as networking technology solutions from HPE. In my videos, what I like to do is show you a slide from a popular PowerPoint and then present to you what that means within a management interface. Today, we're going to look at Veeam's special integration with Nimble storage arrays. And this includes their primary arrays, which are their CS and AF series, as well as the secondary flash arrays, which are the SF series. This special integration allows us to be able to quickly back up as well as recover in worst case circumstances. And what Veeam does is it leverages the snapshots found within the Nimble array to be able to perform these actions. So Veeam is certainly an OEM product from HPE. It's also included within Veeam 1. As we step through this demonstration, I'm actually going to show you how to actually integrate Nimble in with Veeam itself. So with that being said, let's explore this management interface. Now, before I actually do the demonstration, let me show you how my environment is configured. So I have this vcenter.hpdemo.sc system, a data center, as well as a cluster here that consists of two ESX systems. And within this cluster, obviously, I have a variety of virtual machines that are running. We really want to focus in on this Back Me Up Ingram Micro virtual machine. And if I look at this VM, we'll scroll down to the data store it's on. It's on this Nimble storage, and that's just a data store that I've named Nimble. And if I actually select that, we'll end up in the data store context where we can see all the data stores that exist within this cluster. And here's our Nimble storage. Right. I have one virtual machine running on this Nimble storage again, and that's that Back Me Up Ingram Micro VM. And obviously, your environment will have a variety of virtual machines, but I'm just trying to make this a simple demonstration that you can follow through with. Right. So let's look at the Nimble array itself. And what we'll do is we'll go under Manage and Data Storage to actually look at the volumes that we have within this Nimble array. And here are the volumes themselves. We're most interested in this volume right here, this vcenter.hpdemo.sc. I select that. Right. This volume is actually what I've labeled Nimble inside the VMware environment. As a matter of fact, if we look at the data access, we'll see I've configured or exported this system to two ESX servers here. Again, that's these two ESX servers here. Now, Nimble highly recommends a data protection plan, which is in essence a snapshotting schedule that you could have around your volumes in your environment. You can see I have 3 snaps going here that kick off about 2 o'clock every day. All right, so let's look inside the Veeam server. So that's kind of how my infrastructure is set up. So here's my Veeam system. You can see that I have some backup jobs listed here. If I look under backups, you can see right now I've got disk-based backups. So they're all going to a disk target. There's no snapshots listed here, or storage snapshots. Down beneath here, you'll see something called storage infrastructure. So let me select that. Right now I don't have any storage added. I'm going to click Add Storage, and on the bottom we're going to see Veeam show us that we can integrate in with Nimble. So we're going to put in an IP address. That IP address is just what we're using up here. Drop that in. We'll click Next. You'll have to put in some credentials. You could certainly add them through this context. I already have my Nimble credentials installed. It's going to go save the configuration. It's going to ask us what protocol we want to use. My system's only a fiber channel system, so I'm going to check iSCSI. I'm going to select Next and then Finish. And then it's going to go through the process of adding this storage array and actually discovering the volumes that are on the system. Now, throughout this video, like I normally do, I'm going to take out some dead space. So again, to get an accurate representation of time, I would look down here, and you might see some of the durations jump a little bit again, just as so I can fast forward things just a little bit as this process goes through. But it doesn't take too long. I just want to move things along a little bit. All right, so the storage has been added. I'm going to click Close. You can see my Nimble array exists over here. I'm going to expand that out. You can see that's the name of actually my array. I'm going to expand that out again. You can see the volumes that exist on that array. So if I go back over here, I go under Manage and then Data Storage. If you remember, you can see that our volumes are over here. And these same volumes have been discovered by Veeam. If I expand out my vcenter.hpdemo.sc volume, you can see the snapshots that exist. And again, if I select my volume here, go over to data protection, those are the same snaps that exist here. If I dig into these snapshots, you can see that it has recognized the virtual machine that exists on here. So again, this is a single virtual machine because I just had one virtual machine on that volume. But it'll just look like something that I use more in production. If I expand out this volume and I select this snap, you can see I've got a variety of virtual machines that it's discovered and ready for a restore function. So what can we do with this? Well, the first thing I can do is I can actually not only discover snapshots that are on the storage system, but I can also create a snapshot. I'll give it a new name, something like new snap. And we'll click OK. I'll validate the snapshot parameters and actually create the snapshot on the storage system. And it'll go through and it'll analyze that snapshot and look for the VMs that may exist. So it's completed its discovery and the snapshot is ready to use. We can see our new snap is listed here. And if I go back into the Nimble storage solution and do a refresh, you'll see that snap exists up here in a writable fashion. So that's one way, or a couple ways that I could use snapshots. They could be discovered on the system. I could create them within Veeam's environment. I could also create backup jobs around them as well. And this is something special for Veeam. So I go up here to backup. I can right click, create a new backup. I'll call this backup job for Nimble. Click next. We'll add a virtual machine and we'll just add our one special virtual machine that we're working with. That happens to be within our cluster. Right, obviously we want to add a variety of machines in an actual production environment. I'm going to click next. Next I can select a repository. So obviously I have a variety of repositories there. They're namely directed at my store once system. Right? But I can also select Nimble snapshots as well. I'm going to click next. Obviously I can enable an application aware processing. I can run the job at a scheduled time. Right. I'm going to run the job now actually. I'm going to click finish and this will go through and create a snapshot and make it available. Something else we should notice, that underneath our backup jobs we not only have disk listed here, but we also have storage snapshots listed. And if I go down to running, select this backup job, we'll get an idea of what the system is doing on the back end. Alright, so the job is finished. Click OK. And again, if I go back into the Nimble array, we'll do a refresh and we'll see that we've got this new snapshot that exists up here. So what can we do with these snapshots? Well, we could do an instant VM recovery from them. So what we'll do is we'll go over inside the vSphere environment and take this virtual machine that we've been working with and I'm going to power it off. Right, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete it. delete from disk. So this is about a 100 gig virtual machine that I just blasted away. So now we're going to use Veeam in order to be able to recover that virtual machine from our storage snapshots. So we'll go back up into this context, go back down to storage snapshots. We'll expand out this environment, and we could see that we have our backup job exists right here. So I'm going to right click, I'm going to do an instant VM recovery. I'll do it from this snap. I'm going to click next. I'm going to restore it to the original location. Click next. It's going to ask me for a restore region. I could certainly fill that in if I felt like it. And then I'm going to connect to the network, and I'm also going to power on the machine. It's going to give me a little note to make sure that I'm aware that I don't want to have the old machine kind of hanging around for MAC address conflicts and things like that. So I'm going to click restore, and then I can click finish if I want, but it's going to give me a little note that it's still running. And if I go down here, we'll see that job is sitting over here. So what's going to happen here is Veeam is actually going to go through the process of taking that snapshot and actually mounting it directly to the VMware server. Right, and then it's going to power on that virtual machine. If I go and back over here, look at the VMware server, we can already see it's done a rescan HBA. And in a little bit, it's going to actually mount the storage. If I look underneath storage, we can see that I just have this Nimble array. In a little bit, we're going to see something that says, something that has a prefix of snap on it. Right? And we can see a resignature of unresolved VMFS volumes, right? Because it's remounting the same volume back to the same VMware server. So VMware's got to resignature that. So that's what's happening right now, and it's doing that on our behalf. Right? I go look inside the Veeam environment, we get the same message over here. See that it's completed, and now I've got my snap volume that exists here, and if I select it, you can see that right now there's no virtual machines. In a little bit, it's actually going to register that virtual machine that I deleted. And we can get that message from here as well. So registering the backup machine. And over here, we can see that machine's already been registered. As a matter of fact, I go over to host and clusters. You can see it's sitting right here. What I'll do is I'm going to select that virtual machine. We'll scroll back up. There it is, the machine's up and running. And I can log into this guy. We got the crash consistent message. And then obviously Server Manager is going to load up for us. All right, so this was a 100 gig virtual machine that we brought back pretty much instantly with inside this environment. Our job isn't complete yet. The machine, if we look at it, still exists on this snap storage. All right, and if I look inside the Veeam interface, you can see it's waiting for a user to start the migration. So we want to do a storage VMotion to migrate this guy back into production, and Veeam's going to help us with that as well. Up here I have a heading called Instant VM Recovery. I'm going to select that. Here's this virtual machine. I'm going to right click and select Migrate into Production. It's going to ask me where I want to migrate it to. And just leave the automatic settings in place. It's going to check for the possibility of being able to do a storage VMotion migration, and it will find it's going to be able to, and then it will do that migration. Okay, we're going to click Finish, and the process will go through to be able to migrate this back into production. So you can see the start of the migration. Right, we're going to go back into the VMware environment, and in a little bit we'll see a job kickoff where that will be migrating. There we go. We can see the relocate a virtual machine happening. About 31% right now. All right, the migration is completed. Look inside the interface, we can see the job is finished. And click OK. As a matter of fact, if we can catch it quick enough, if I go over into the storage, we'll see that that snap will be removed as well. And we can see the unmounted VMF, it's detaching its LUN. We're getting a little notice that it is going away and it is finished. So now we're back at a stable state, or where we were before the accident had happened. And if I select this virtual machine again, now it's on the Nimble storage, just as we had initially started. So that's Veeam's special integration in with Nimble-based storage solutions. I hope you found this video informative, and please stay tuned for more videos.